Hello, this is James Graff with Advisors Mortgage Group, and I'm here to give you a community report on Ocean County. Let's take a look at the demographics in Ocean County. Values are in thousands, of course, but I'll be reading them as full numbers. 597,000 is the total population, 51% female, 49% male, which is fairly typical of New Jersey. Next, we'll look at the breakdown by age. 18-year-olds to 26-year-olds, there are 66,160. First-time home buyers tend to be between 27 and 35 years old, and there are 63,870 of those. I believe the median age is 33 for a first-time home buyer. Check me on that, please. For the age group 36 to 45, there are 59,870. For the group between 45 and 54, myself included, it is 73,130. Number jumps a little bit. And between 55 and 64-year-olds, there are 78,180. So there is a large number of 55 to 64s, and there is 45 to 54-year-olds. Which are fairly significant. The lowest group is actually the 36 to 44-year-olds. It's easy for you to say. 36 to 44-year-olds is the smallest group. There are a substantial amount of 27 to 35-year-olds in Ocean County. Next, we'll look at birth rates, which are actually trending up. One of the few counties that I know of in New Jersey where the birth rates are trending up. And listen to this number. The annual average over the last 5 years is 8.27, let's do it in thousands, 8,270 over the last year. The annual average for the last 5 years is 8,270. That's a large number for New Jersey. Next, we'll look at the labor force in Ocean County. The participation rate is the same for all the counties that I've looked at, 62%. The interesting thing is that the breakdown between male and female is quite close, 82% versus 75%. That's a fairly close balance there. In Ocean County, the education and housing we'll look at next. These values are in thousands. We're going to look at enrollment. In elementary school, there are 30,000 children. In middle school, there are 30,040. And in high school, there are 30,090. All fairly equal groups. In college, there's 33,190. So very, very similar numbers across the board, which is actually kind of rare as far as I've seen. The student-to-teacher ratio is slightly on the low side, 12 to 1, very similar to Monmouth County, but very different from other counties I've looked at in New Jersey. They're all fairly similar. Next, we'll look at buildings by decades, which tend to be built in the 70s, but of course we're dealing with hurricanes a little bit more, so we're looking at more houses built in the aughts typical than you'll typically find. You'll see. So let's do it. Buildings built in the 50s, 27,540. Buildings built in the 60s, 39,400. Buildings built in the 70s is always the largest number in every county I've looked at in New Jersey, 56,560. Buildings built in the 80s is close, 51,050. So you're looking at a fairly, could you say, young group of buildings. In the 90s, 37,110. And in the aughts, there are 40,050. That's a large number for the aughts, as far as I've seen, because it's a coastal county. 40,000. We're still looking at more houses built in the 70s than anything else, but 80s are close. And oddly enough, aughts are next, which is due to Sandy and other hurricanes, I'm sure. Next, we'll look at the crime rate for Ocean County. Values are per thousand and brought to you by the FBI Crime Report. There are two categories, violent crime and property crime. First, we'll look at violent crime, which is 0.96 per thousand, and under that title, aggravated assault, 0.60 per thousand, murder, 0.01 per thousand. It's as low as it gets, as low as Monmouth County. I don't know if there's lower elsewhere in New Jersey. Forcible rape, 0.09 per thousand. Robbery, 0.26 per thousand, which is also quite low. Property crime, 11.92 per thousand. Petty theft, 9.58 per thousand. Burglary, 2.05 per thousand. Motor vehicle theft, 0.29 per thousand. And arson at 0.05 per thousand. This is all, I guess, per year, because that makes sense. 0.05 per thousand per year makes most sense. And with that, I'd thank you for listening to me, James Graff, with Advisors Mortgage Group. You can reach me at 732-500-6883. That's 732-500-MUTE. And then we find out what this is here. This is for muting your trumpet. You can mute your trumpet if you want, or you can mute the audio on this video. I don't mind if I'm not making sense to you. Or you can mute my incoming phone call. If anything I say to you is not worth your while, it would not hurt my feelings at all. With that, I have to thank you for not muting the video thus far. And I have to, of course, thank you for spending your very precious time listening to me. I, of course, also want to wish you an absolutely wonderful day. Thanks again.